Well, this was our backyard growing up.
When you meet Alice Walton, you have to remind yourself that she's the third richest woman in the world, according to Forbes magazine, worth $21 billion. Walmart money.
You spent a lot of time in this woods?
Oh yes, I rode horses and played hide and seek and tried to catch up with my brothers when they were running away from me.
Today it's crisscrossed by more than 3 miles of trails, part of the 120-acre park that surrounds Crystal Bridges, the Museum of American Art Walton built in her hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas.
Art wasn't accessible to me as a child, and I hope that changes now for people throughout this region.
Unbelievable.
From an observation deck in the trees, the people of Bentonville have watched the museum take shape. It's called Crystal Bridges because 2 of the buildings are actual bridges, with their curved copper roofs crossing what will be 2 ponds. Inside, they're arched, with beams made out of Arkansas pine.
There are 2 galleries on this bridge, water flowing underneath us over the waterfall into the creek bed.
Don Bacciagalupi is the museum's director.
The guest who tours the museum will be very well connected to both art and nature.
It was designed by the renowned Boston-based architect, Moshe Safdie.
You start seeing the reflection of that building.
Its cost, an estimated $150 million. No one will say exactly. Walmart has just announced a $20 million gift, so admission will be free. And last year alone, the Walton Family Foundation donated $1.2 billion to the project.
My parents spent a lot of time with us growing up, talking about the importance of giving back.
Alice is the youngest of the 4 Walton children. Her father was Sam Walton, who owned the Five and Dime facing the town square in Bentonville before he launched Walmart in 1962.
Were you a happy family?
Very much so, yes. My parents didn't believe value and worth had anything to do with money. I think it's always been important to, what do you call it, keep your feet on the ground and your nose out of the air.
So that's how you've lived your life?
I've tried to.
Which is why Walton was stunned when her plans to bring world-class art to Northwest Arkansas, in fact, one of the fastest-growing regions in the United States, proved hugely controversial.
It hits me right in the heart, and every time I see this piece, I almost tear up, I really do.
In 2005, when she bought Asher B. Durand's Kindred Spirits for a reported $35 million from the New York Public Library, the outcry was immediate and indignant. Who did this Walmart heiress think she was? A treasure like that going to Bentonville, Arkansas? No way.
Well, it hurt my feelings. We hadn't even announced the museum at the time. We thought we could quietly put it together and then open one day.
There was more trouble to come.
This is one of my favorites, Professor Benjamin Rand.
It's by Thomas Akins.
I think this is an amazing piece, but yes, we were thrilled to get it.
Walton reportedly paid $20 million for it, but it was, if you will, the consolation prize after she tried to buy an even more important Akins painting, The Gross Clinic, for $68 million. From a medical school in Philadelphia, where the public almost never saw it. But previously complacent Philadelphians were suddenly outraged that their city's most famous painter's most famous work might leave. They matched her bid.
I was a bit surprised by the reaction. We felt like we were going to bring a great painting to a public institution where it would be viewed.
The Wall Street Journal asked if Alice Walton might be a hovering culture vulture poised to swoop down and seize tasty masterpieces from weak hands. This about a major stockholder in a company vilified for its business practices as often as it's praised for low prices.
There are people in this country who love to hate every single thing that is connected with Walmart or the Walton family.
Right. Well, it saddens me, obviously.
Do you just tune that out?
No, I don't tune it out. I mean, I try to listen and you try to be responsive, but I also understand that there is always going to be that group of people. It's no different than those people that don't believe Arkansas should have a wonderful museum.
The collection will contain the whole history of American art from the beginnings to the present. So we start about 1650 and we go through 2011. And the collection numbers just north of 1,000 objects at this point.
It includes a portrait of George Washington by Gilbert Stuart, Norman Rockwell's Rosie the Riveter, this Andrew Wyeth. Important works by artists you've heard of and some you probably haven't.
This is a 1968 work by Alexander Calder.
Don Bacigalupi helped nudge Alice Walton's collecting tastes in the direction of modern art.
Other parts will rotate.
It squeaks.
It does squeak.
There are many works with women as their subjects, or by women artists, such as Devorah Sperber's After the Last Supper, made from spools of thread. Alice Walton has been collecting seriously for more than 20 years.
How many of these paintings actually lived in your house?
I think we brought up almost 100.
Including this one, painted by George Innes, soon after the Civil War.
This woman is walking along the Underground Railroad, which went just outside of Montclair, New Jersey.
And this is a particular favorite of yours?
It is. There is a darkness or a melancholy about it to me that signifies the turmoil and the aftermath of the Civil War.
Walton's love of American history made her a collector of American art.
Those are parts of our history that shouldn't be hidden. They are our history. The not so pretty as well as the pretty, but it's the true history that we need to know.
Except perhaps when that history is her own. Alice Walton guards her privacy. She splits her time between her horse ranch in Texas and her snug childhood home in Bentonville.
Watch out!
Divorced with no children,
That's my nephews out mountain biking.
she dotes on her nieces and nephews. Here she's allowed to hunker down and forget her critics, and instead think about art.
But I will show you one that's very special. I thought was going to leave for the museum, but hasn't yet.
But
It's
it
a piece
will?
of local history, yes.
Here, she feels safe being a Walton.
I guess I wish I were less controversial than I seem to be, but things are as they are.
So, she makes no apologies for spending her money on art. And when Crystal Bridges opens this Friday, Alice Walton thinks it will speak for itself.
The day you open the doors is not the end of the collection.
That's the beginning. That's the beginning.